Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL prediction segment, I'm going to be giving you my 2019 Week 2 NFL picks and analysis. So anyway, well, first thing up is first game, I'm going to take Carolina over Tampa Bay. Carolina, I think they're going to be at least a solid or adequate road home team this season. They looked competitive in week one against a very good Rams team. They got Kuechly and Cam Newton. I expect him to perform at least decent in this one. Now, Tampa Bay, on the other hand, they have a very abysmal, team on the road. They were 1-7 on the road last season. They've lost 5 of their last 6 at Carolina, and I think their offense is a little bit of a question mark right now. I don't really know what we can expect from that, and so for those reasons, I'm going to take the Panthers at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Bengals at home over the 49ers. Cincinnati, again, it's another team that looked competitive, though they did lose to Seattle last week. The combination of Andy Dalton and A.J. Green, I think, is still very formidable. Andy Dalton put up very good numbers last week, and that was a tough game on the road against Seattle. Now they got to play it was on the road against Seattle, but you look at the 49ers right now. They did. I understand they won last week. That was against Tampa Bay. Getting to San Francisco, getting 2 straight road victories, even 2 wins consecutively, just seems it's not overly conceivable for me. They are a team right now. I believe they're +4 in takeaways, one of the best in the NFL, but that is just after 1 week. But still, they have some good things going for them with Jimmy Garoppolo. I understand it, but I still think the Bengals are just a little bit better right now. They are going to be at home, and I just don't trust San Francisco to win consecutive games on the road. So I'm taking the Bengals. Now, the next game, I want to take the LA Chargers on the road against the Detroit Lions. Now, the Chargers did put up 30 points last week in a win over the Colts, and I understand they didn't have Andrew Luck with the Colts, but they still had a solid victory. You look at Thomas Davis has been a bright spot for them with 14 tackles, among the league leaders. Now, Detroit last week squandered like an 18-point lead against an Arizona team that I thought was clearly inferior to them. And you look at Detroit right now, their offense is a little bit inconsistent. I know it's just one game, but they look good, in that first half or what have you. Then after that, they just really do not play quite as well. The offense seems a little erratic and sporadic. They do have, they have some bright spots. Linebacker Devon Kennard, I believe his name is, 3 sacks among the league leaders. They are a team that does have some talent. They do have some receivers, but I think the Chargers are going to be a little bit better offensively. I like them to get this road win. Now, this is one game I've been kind of ambivalent about and going back and forth on. Green Bay at home against Minnesota. I'm going to just reluctantly take Minnesota on the road. I think Minnesota is finding a better identity than they had last season. The running game dominated last week. They had 172 rushing yards and much less in the passing department. I think what it looks like they're going to do is they might become a run-first team, and it might be more successful that way. Green Bay, I'm not really sure about them. I understand they won last week. They beat a team, the Chicago Bears, that some felt and really had Super Bowl aspirations, including me, but the Bears didn't look like they could do really anything. Green Bay right now, with Aaron Rodgers, you always have a shot, but they only managed like 47 yards rushing last week. And I think what's going to happen, Minnesota is going to try to make Green Bay one-dimensional in terms of the passing. I think it's going to be to their advantage. I don't know about the run defense with Green Bay against Minnesota. I think the Minnesota running attack could make the difference, so I like Minnesota on the road. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans at home over the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Titans, it was just 1 week, but they looked like world beaters last week. They put up 43 points against the Cleveland Browns team that, it seemed like such a consensus pick to win the game, and even maybe the AFC North division, and the Browns just they couldn't do anything. The Titans played a nearly flawless game, and they had 3 defensive interceptions. They're +3 in turnover turnover differential right now. Indianapolis, despite not having Andrew Luck, played a very good game last week against the Chargers. It was like no luck, no problem, but they still lost the game. They put up a lot of rushing yards, though, in that game. Indianapolis has dominated Tennessee in recent time, but during the Luck era, if I'm not mistaken, whenever Andrew Luck played, they were infallible in terms of their win-loss record. I believe they did win every game that Andrew Luck played in. But now Luck is not playing. Tennessee has no excuses. I'm going to take the Titans to win this one at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to pick New England on the road to go again to beat Miami. Now, this game could likely be very close. I know Miami looked abhorrent last week. They're number 32 in total offense right now. I don't know if they're going to go with Ryan. They're going to go with Fitzpatrick or someone else. Right now, they're -3 in turnover differential. New England has lost 5 of the last 6 against Miami. But right now, I know it's one game, but based on what New England has in their personnel and the fact that Miami's quarterback situation may actually be worse than it was last season, I think New England could break this little jinx, and I think they can go into Miami and win this one in a little more competitive game than a lot of people think, because they do have trouble against Miami, but I think Miami they might even be playing for next season despite what they're saying. So I'm going to take New England on the road. Now, the next game, well, this is another one where it's been ambivalent city, but I'm going to take reluctantly the Giants at home to beat Buffalo. I know Buffalo is like 5-3 in their last regular season games. The Giants could hardly do anything last week. I don't know if a quarterback change is imminent for them or not, but Eli Manning they actually was not bad. They put up nearly 500 yards of offense last week, but they just couldn't get the points they needed at the right times. I think at this time, the Giants can accumulate and amass a good amount of yardage and actually have a little better luck. They get in that red zone area. They're going to capitalize a little more on that. Buffalo right now, again, they're starting to come into their own. They're playing very well. I see them have a very good future ahead of them, but I'm going to take the Giants in this one, being at home, and I think their offense is actually going to be better than it was last week, and it's going to be enough to win the game. So I'm taking the Giants at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Steelers at home over the Seattle Seahawks, and I know Pittsburgh is another team that just looked deplorable last week. Ben Roethlisberger was off. They were demoralized by the Patriots. They lost by like 30 points. And they only had 21 yards rushing last week. I think in this one, Connor is going to get it together. I think they're going to establish a better running game. Pittsburgh generally doesn't lose consecutive games, and I know they look so terrible, but I would think that they're going to have to redeem themselves in this one after that poor showing. It's going to be game 1 at home for them this season. Seattle right now with Clowney and their defense, it's going to be better than a lot of people anticipated. They're going to recover from all those losses I think they had on defense to some degree, but Seattle just barely got by Cincy last week, and they weren't really overly impressive. And now they're going on the road against the Steelers, and the Steelers are going to be a very angry team right now, and they're going to look like they want to redeem themselves after really an abhorrent performance last week. So I'm going to take the Steelers in a close one at home. Well, the next game, I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys on the road to defeat the Washington Redskins. Now, Dallas could actually, I hate to say this, but they might actually be going to the Super Bowl this season. They looked like they had a fairly near flawless performance on offense and defense. Thus, we put up 35 points against the G-Men. They're in the top 5, I believe, in offense and defense as far as the total goes. And also, you look at Washington. Washington might actually make this more competitive than some may think. The Redskins did not play poorly last week. They had Casey Keenum put up some very good numbers. He's a very good quarterback. Their offense might be a little better than a lot of us are giving him credit for out there. But I think with Dallas, it's just going to be too much Ezekiel Elliott. I think it's going to be their rushing offense going to be a little stronger than the rushing defense for Washington. So I'll take Dallas to win this one, emerge victorious on the road. Now, next game, I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens and the ravenous defense. It wasn't even just the defense last week. 59 points I mean, that was not even conceivable. I had no idea they were going to put up that many points on the board. I think they're going to keep rolling. I'm going to stay on this bandwagon with Baltimore. They got the number one rushing offense right now, number one total offense, I believe, as well. And they only gave up like 10 points last week. I mean, they just played. I mean, I know you're never as good as your best game or never as worse as your worst game, of course, but never as bad as your worst game. But Baltimore, I mean, all they need to do is put up 25 or 30 points in this one. They're going to win. Arizona right now they played and made a valiant comeback last week. Don't get me wrong, but I think they're going to be so emotionally spent from all that energy that was expended in that victory, in that tie they had with Detroit. And I think it's just going to be a lot for them to have to go on the road, go into a place, Baltimore, which is probably going to become very hard to win. And I just don't see them getting the W. I like Baltimore to win this one decisively at home. Hold on a moment, people. Well, next game, I'm going to take the Houston Texans to win at home over the Jaguars. Now, Houston, last week, they played a Saints team that really is very formidable. They played them very well. And Houston is, I mean, they have a roster that's basically, that's depleted right now. And they went into New Orleans and did everything but beat them. It took kind of a miraculous ending for the Saints to defeat them with that 58-yard last-second field goal. The thing about Houston is that I'm a little more impressed with them than I am with Jacksonville right now. Jacksonville is going to be without quarterback Nick Foles indefinitely. Their revamped D was supposed to be improve the team, but they still gave up 40 points last week to Kansas City. I think they're probably going to give up at least 25, 26 to Houston. I don't have confidence that Jacksonville could even maybe score 20 points in this particular matchup. So I'm going to take Houston to win this one at home. Now, last week, Kansas City, they just looked like a world beater. What they did to Jacksonville on the road, they just dismantled them, annihilated them. They got put up all these so many yards in total offense. That Watkins, that receiver they got there, had like close to 200 yards close to 200 receiving yards. Now, Oakland, I'm going to take the Chiefs to win, but Oakland can make this competitive. It is a divisional game. Oakland has been dominated in this series in recent time. They've lost 8 of 9 to the Chiefs. But when I look at the Raiders, they allowed 16 points. They did give up 344 total yards, which is not exactly lamentable. It could have been a lot worse for them than that. But they actually, they impressed me. They looked like a team that's going to go out and compete this season. It's not going to be enough in this game, I don't think. I think Kansas City, their offense is just going to be too strong for Oakland to handle. Kansas City, I see them putting up 30 points anyway. I don't know if Oakland can match that. Kansas City, I do like them to win this one on the road. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Denver Broncos. Again, I'm, one of those reluctant picks over the Chicago Bears, and Chicago looked terrible last week. They put up only 3 points on the board. Of course, no touchdowns. Denver right now, I think they're going to, this is a week of redemption for Denver and Chicago. It's which team wants this one really more. Which team is going to say, okay, we looked terrible last week. I'm going to put it on my shoulders. We're going to put it on our shoulders, and we're going to show that we're much better than what we demonstrated. Well, the tiebreaker is the fact it's at Denver. I think for me, the fact that they're at home with Joe Flacco and Von Miller, I think they're going to get it together on the both sides of the ball with Flacco and quarterback and Von Miller on the defense. They have, when I look at this, though, it's a team, when you look at Denver, they have not, it's a team that's really on the downside, I believe, but I think Chicago is showing that maybe they were a little bit overhyped, and if they can't get their offense together, they will not be able to go into Denver and win this game, and I don't know if they have the cohesion right now on offense to get this done. I like Denver to get this one done at home. Now, the next game is a very compelling matchup. You got the Rams at home against the Saints. I'm going to take the Rams at home. It'll be a fairly tight game, but what I saw, a lot of it is, my pick is attributed to the fact fact that New Orleans, did everything but lose that game to a depleted Houston Texans team. Now you got to go on the road against the Rams, a team that defeated you last season in the NFC title game. You got Aaron Donald with the Rams. Someone on the Rams had stated we were okay or something, but we still got work to do. I think they're going to be improved in this game, and the fact that they're going to be improved, and now the Saints got to go on the road. I know they're seeking retribution in this game, but I just don't see them getting this done. I think the defense of I don't trust the defense of the Saints. I trust the Rams D a little bit more. I'm taking the Rams at home. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons barely at home over the Philadelphia Eagles. Atlanta, I think with Julio Jones and Matt Ryan, I think they're going to get things together. I think Julio Jones got to work on the touchdowns this season. And you look at they did not play well against Minnesota last week, but I just have a hard time seeing that offense being really looking abysmal 2 consecutive weeks. Philadelphia is a team, they've lost 3 of their last 4 at Atlanta. I think Atlanta's going to have their way with them once again. It'll be a tight game, but Philadelphia just does not fare on the road against Atlanta. And in general, in recent time, I'm going to take Philadelphia to win this one. Atlanta to win this one at home. Last but not least, I'm going to take the Jets to win over the Browns. I think the Browns might actually be very overhyped this season. It's going to be interesting to see if they can rebound. The quarterback was talking and saying, or I don't remember his exact words, but basically saying it's going to be a resilient team. We're going to bounce back from adversity. Now let's see how they do it when the Monday night comes along and they're in front of the Monday night lights. The Jets did everything but beat Buffalo last week. They should have got it done. They just took the foot off the brakes at the gas pedal toward the end of the game. I think they're going to continue to make some progression this season with their quarterback Sam Darnold, and I expect Le'Veon Bell to really bust loose in this game. I think he's going to get over 100 yards in this one. I think it's going to be one of those methodical deals with Le'Veon Bell. He's just going to gradually, progressively get a little bit better as the weeks go by. I think he'll be better in this one. I think the Jets, what they need to do is utilize Bell, dominate time of possession, and they can win this game. I'm taking the Jets at home. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment. And until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.